8th grade lesson number 10. I can write equations from a table and an equation. So in this one, the situation is I get $12 per hour and I have a starting value of $50. I could write my equation as M for money, total money, is going to be $12 times the number of hours I work plus 50 bucks. Now I'm going to go ahead and make sure my variables are labeled in my table as well. So X would be my H, Y is my money. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in 0, 1, and 2. So I'm going to have a couple values for my X and Y. When I've worked 0 hours, that would be 12 times 0 plus 50. I'm going to make $50. If I work for 1 hour, that would be 12 times 1 plus 50. I'm going to make $62. And for the third one, if I work 2 hours, 2 times 12 is 24. 24 plus 50 is 74. I make $74. So this is combining quite a few different skills. Writing the equation, making a table. Now we're also going to make a graph. So my X is H. And I want to look at the data I have. 0 hours, 1 hour, 2 hour. So I'm going to make sure that my data makes sense on the x-axis. So I'm going to actually, personally, I think skipping every 3 will give me a nice distribution of this data. So there I just labeled 1, 2, and 3. But going up on the y-axis for my money, I'm gonna need something in a bigger interval. So here I have 50, 62, and 75. So I think it might make sense to go up by tens. I think I'm gonna try tens, but going every other. So kind of going up by 5. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and that would be 75. Now I can graph my data. So at 0, we start at 50. At 1, we go up to 62. And at 2, we're at 74. All right, for the other one, this is if I get a table, now making the equation and then graphing. So graphing my points would be easy. They already gave us information for that. But I need to figure out first my rate of change. So to go from 45 to 109, I'm gonna go ahead and take a calculator for that and subtract. 109 minus 45. I get 64. Just gonna double check and go 141 minus 109. I get 32. And I'll show you why I have 2 different numbers in just a moment. Here to go from 0 to 2, I went up by 2. From 2 to 3, I went up by 1. So now y divided by x, or the change in y, I mean, divided by the change in x, I'll still get the same rate. The change in y for the first one was 64, while the change in x was 2. On the second one, the change in y was 32, the change in x was 1. So I have the same rate. My starting value is 45. My equation, I'm gonna say H for hours, M for money. So total money equals 32 times the number of hours plus $45. And for labeling my graph, I still have my X and my Y, which is hours and money. And I'm gonna use the same scale for my hours. And I think it would make more sense this time to break everything up maybe by 25s. Something a little bit bigger so I can get all the way up to 141. So I'm gonna do, let's do every 3. 25, 50, 75, 100, 125. I probably should have used something different, but that's okay. It's gonna go off the graph. So at 0, we're at 45. At 1, we're at 109. Oops. Good thing I caught myself. Attention to precision now. It was a 2 for the x-axis. 109. And then 3, I'm all the way up here at 141. There, that makes more sense. And that concludes lesson number 10.